very warm welcome to the Form on this Saturday morning where, of course, it is Counties Cup Day, normally to be run at Pukekohe Park, but today, because of the COVID restrictions, does have to be run at Te Rapa. Not only that, but a strong card coming in from Aupuni as well. Let's have a little look at what's on the agenda. We start the show with form analyst Brendan Popplewell, who talks us through those key races at Te Rapa as well as a best and value bet. Then we get to Brent Taylor from Trelawney Stud. They have a strong team of runners in New Zealand and also Australia with Zaidani in the Ballarat Cup. Then to the Central Districts, Robbie Hannam links in with us. He's got key chances across that Aupuni meeting before we head all the way back to Auckland to chat to Lance Noble. He's got 3 runners at Te Rapa, including 2 runners in the Dunstan Feeds Auckland Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes. Opie Bosson is the next cab off the rank, and he talks riding 54.5 kilos on a 2-year-old he thinks is a rising star. And then to wrap it up, Michael McNabb. He's got a number of runners on that card at Te Rapa, including a couple of nice ones in those stakes races. We'll chat to him very soon. Well, we start the form this morning with form analyst Brendan Popplewell. And Brendan, really looking forward to Saturday's meeting from Te Rapa. Obviously, it's normally at Pukekohe. We've had to move to Te Rapa, but still really good with the fields that have assembled.
Amazing fields, Emily. A very good morning to you. And this is the start of our Christmas racing, isn't it? This is where we get that first line of form heading towards, fingers crossed, Ellerslie over that sort of Christmas carnival time. And really great to see the sprinters. A good line on these 2-year-olds, especially the Te Akau 2-year-old that's created a lot of interest coming into this first time of asking. The Cup's got depth, the fillies and mares, Auckland Thoroughbred breeders. So, yeah, everything you want in amongst this race day, plus a strong undercard.
I thought we could go through and have a little chat through some of those stakes races, and we'll start with race number 3, which is for the 2-year-olds, a listed event. And as you mentioned, Opie Bosson riding 54.5 kilos for a Saturday at Te Rapa screams of a horse that he likes, although there are a number of other highly fancied contenders in the race.
There is. I suppose it's a good thing that you're not living with him at the moment. We're getting down to 54.5 kilos. Look, this is a ride where I'm sure he's very much looking forward to because of what she has shown at her trials, because of just how professional she was. I just love how she has railed beautifully underneath the leader and taken that gap up against the rail. There was so many good things about her trial. And then also what we're hearing, in terms of, that the price they paid for her and what she's showing the team and all those other things that come into the melting pot about trying to make a selection. Then she's got a barrier draw of 1. Opie rides down to 54.5 and all those sort of things. Of course, Mascarinto is the other runner that really has to be respected. And respected because he has run through the roof at his first start to the races at Matamata. He's shown explosive speed to be able to get to the front, and he has literally brained them in his race. So I don't want to discount him saying that he can't win this, because I think he can. I'm down to 1-4-4-1. Really could come down to the first couple of 100 metres. If he shows that first bit of explosion again out of the barriers, what does the Te Akau horse do? Do they want to take a sit? Do they want to try and hold and keep the horse out? So all those little tactics come into the race. So fascinating race. Away from those 2 horses, Emily, Sacred Satana comes in with race day experience too, with that placing here at this venue. Buck and Bell has been able to win a trial nicely also. I'm with the 4 just in front of the 1, but hard race to be betting on. Maybe just take the Cornella to be certain.
Yep, good advice there. The Counties Bowl is the next one that we touch on, and I'm absolutely fizzing to see Levante back at the track, Brendan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, her trial was terrific, wasn't it? And nice to see her jump, get away with them, and really put them away. We know that she is high quality, and we saw that last season. We saw it in this race 12 months ago when she really did announce herself as a high-class sprinter with how she won. An impossible race to win, you would have thought, with where she was in the run, but how she just exploded. She's got that amazing change-up of speed, doesn't she, Levante? And I know there's been those few little hurdles in between times in these bigger races we've seen with Levante, with obviously the race that comes to mind is at Te Rapa when she was clashing against course I may have an Avantage, and she didn't get away with them on that occasion. But I think what was nice to see is she's done everything correctly in that first barrier trial. I do believe, though, it's a race between Babylon Berlin and also Vamos BB. They are the three that really stand out, and they Babylon Berlin is a horse that's fast, very fast out of the barrier. So you know what you're going to get with her. And if there's any little early chink in the armor, if Levante gets it wrong, she can make that horse pay with her early acceleration and have those lengths on a horse like her. Where Vamos BB can tuck him behind. Maybe if there's that real avalanche of speed early when horses like Only in Jakarta, they want to punch forward, there could be a red hot tempo early doors, which might mean that Vamos BB tucks into that sweet spot in the race. So there's two or three different ways this race could angle towards really and favour which runner. I'm just with Babylon Berlin with that one run under her belt down at Christchurch. She got the job done. She travelled down there. Levante and Vamos BB, though, as I said, they get the right run. They can take this race out. This is a very good sprinting field.
We then move on to the stayers. We've got the Counties Cup as the next stakes race that we'll have a little look at. And in the number of interviews that I've done over the past couple of days, a lot of chat about Cheaper Than Divorce, and got to love the way she won the Group 3 at that latest outing.
Too right. And she now looks ready to step up in distance. We saw glimpses of her talent, didn't we, last season, Cheaper Than Divorce, as a 3-year-old filly, and already in their 2 starts as preparation, she is right on target for that Cup's path, isn't she, in Cheaper Than Divorce. Thompson win was spot on, beating home Just Ask Me, who's then put them away last weekend in the Tauranga Stakes. So an immediate great form reference around her. Barry draws nice, stables in form. So there's so many right ticks about her. I like the race. I think there's some good depth to the race. Big Mike obviously brings you that tempo. He's a horse who bounces out of the Group 1. He races honestly and very well here at this venue, does Big Mike. Robusto, runner number 3, drops back out of Wait for Age Company at her last 2 starts. I thought a really good effort here at this venue last time out when running 3rd behind Cheval Promoteur. 12 months ago, she was winning the Metropolitan at Riccarton and ran in the New Zealand Cup. She's got great Cups form. Just Amazed has won a 2019 Waikato Cup here. And I just like the way that he's come on. He ran 4th in the race last year in the Counties Cup. He's been able to come off speed. He's been placed in a Wellington Cup. He's just an older horse that maybe he's just putting it all together. So I'm with the local David Green Galloper and Just Amaze, just in front of a host of horses, really. Cheaper Than Divorce, Robusto, maybe Big Mike can give you that sight in front as well that can run a big race for trifectas in first 4. So Just Amaze on top with a good bunch of horses in behind.
And to wrap up our preview of the stakes races, we can have a chat about the Auckland Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes. And I found this one a really intriguing race because there's a lot of different elements to bring into play when it comes to the fillies and mares over the 1400. Really
is. I mean, this is a race where you go through the top half of this field and you can give them their individual chances. So favourite to elicit, Electric first up. Just a reminder of how good she is with how she won that race at Hawke's Bay in the red badge. Unlucky in that race was our Alley Cat, who's come back with a really good 2 runs as preparation. We saw her run that great race in the Westbury State Classic behind Levante last season. Travelling light, a Group 1 performer, as we know. Ran with 61.5 on her back last start. When finishing 3rd, I thought it was a really game effort. She comes back to Wait for Age fillies and mares carrying 57 kilos with a light draw, and there's been money for the horse. So you can understand Herb having a great chance in the race. Oh, I did like Show of Roses running number 1 in the race, Emily. I thought she was so unlucky here last time to the races. She goes to 1,400 metres, where she's been twice placed at that distance, both at stakes level in this race last year, and as a 3-year-old placed in the Bone Crush over 1,400 metres. And then, of course, she went on that winning run. She won the Kalai Zuzu Stakes at 1,600 metres and the Ritual Mile at 1,600 metres. She's drawn the outside barrier. That won't be a problem. She drew barriers 12 and 14 in those 2 victories where she showed the barrier speed to overcome that draw. I think she can do that again here tomorrow afternoon, where she can jump, put herself there. If she doesn't find the rail, I definitely believe she'll find outside leader, but she's very fast out of the barriers. So I thought she was a bet on the each way and maybe a great chance in the top 4 market. She sits at $2.10 to run in the first 4 to Show of Roses. I'm around 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the combination can be a number of different ways, but I just like how she's going to put herself in the race, show her roses, and give you a great opportunity around that $10 mark.
And Brendan, speaking of Show of Roses, she features in your bets, doesn't she, as we wrap up and get your insight into the betting strategy?
That's right. Well, I'm all around that name Boston, actually, Emily. And Opie features in my bets on the weekend. And look, he's in great form, isn't he? And he will have a little bit of time on the sideline after this weekend. So there's no doubt that there's that extra incentive to really make sure of it as well on the weekend. I do like his ride in race number 2 in Miss Aotearoa. I've made her my best bet in the program. I like the fact she's got blinkers on. Her barrier draw might mean that she comes with that one last run at them. We've seen her at her best when she has been able to perform like that. So I know Opie's spoken openly about that as well. So I think that she looks to be a good prospect in the race. Miss Aotearoa, there's been money for her already. And yeah, Show of Roses, she's at the each way. I have massive respect around Too Illicit and Travelling Light and our Alley Cat. And as I said, I think she's a great bet for the top 4 at $2.10 and had a couple of gold coins on her at the each way at that sort of $10 price. And the last of our features, the Dunstan Feeds Auckland Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes.
Love your work, Brendan. Thanks so much for your time and enjoy that meeting out of Te Rapa.
Certainly will, Emily. Thanks for your time.
Welcome in Brent Taylor on the form this morning, and we've got a good reason to catch up with Brent today because the team is absolutely flying, and by the looks of things it might continue into Saturday. Brent, awesome stuff. You must be so excited with how things are travelling at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a culmination of a few years getting a racing team together, and the mares that we predominantly race are flying at the moment, and we just can't wait for this weekend. It's going to be fantastic.
Let's have a chat through the contenders this weekend, and we can kick things off with Cheaper Than Divorce, who takes her place in the staying event. Spoke to Robert Wellwood yesterday, and he was very, very excited by this horse's chances, and no doubt you've had that feedback as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I had the opportunity to call by the stable yesterday to drop some rugs off for some other horses we've got there, and had a look at Cheaper Than Divorce and Too Illicit, and they both look magnificent. And certainly their form of the season has been very strong, and you know she's just been a filly that we showed a lot of ability last year, but she's been a revelation just to how well she's put it together this season, and testament to Robert and Roger and obviously Daniel has ridden in the past and Vinny previously, so they've worked hard to get to this point.
Last start, she obviously picked up that Group 3 win at Trentham. That's very valuable for the broodmare page, isn't it? And got to love the way she attacked the line. Looks like the step up in distance will be no issue at all.
No, she's a pretty clean-winded filly, and she certainly looks like she'll get over ground. And certainly tomorrow, she's been over the distance before in the Oaks, so I don't think that'll be a problem. And if she can race this professionally, she just really attacked the line the last 2 runs. So in most of the race horses, if you've got a filly or a colt or whatever that loves to find that finishing line and really fights hard, well, they're really exciting to have.
If we move on to Illicit, an absolutely stunning return to the track with what she was able to do at Hawke's Bay in the Red Badge Sprint. No doubt a little bit of a frustrating 4-year-old year, but you must be so relieved to see her put it all together at 5 and see some of that form we experienced at 3.
Yeah, she's very nearly in the broodmare paddock a number of times through last season and earlier on this season, but she's really long last year. It was just a whole set of circumstances, and it's tough for 3-year-old fillies to perform up to the highest level, then come into a 4-year-old. They're back to square one. They're competing against colts and geldings and older mares, and it's a challenge for them. And she through various circumstances she couldn't compete up to her ability, but this time round she just looks fantastic and she's flying. So what will be tomorrow, but I'm certainly trying her hardest.
There's a long-term plan in place for her, isn't it? What are the thoughts heading forward? I know she's got a Group 1 assignment on the horizon.
She's probably got a couple. Obviously, she gets through tomorrow and recovers from that. We'll head down to Wellington to the Captain Cook, and then back to Auckland for the Zabeel Classic of the 2 that we've got at this stage in mind. And then we'll just see how we get through from there.
Do you feel perhaps she could be a little bit vulnerable at the 1400 metres, second up, having been so devastating with that turn of foot in a fresh state?
Oh, well, they're all there to get beaten. So we'll find out tomorrow. But yeah, no, she's certainly, I don't see her as sort of 2,000 plus metres being her distance, even though she ran second in the Derby. I think, 3-year-olds can perform well over a mile and a half in protected company. I see her probably more of a mile or 2,000. So 1,400 metres, and Roger and Robert have got her looking fantastic. But she'll be competitive, I'm sure. Vulnerable? Yeah, they always are.
They most definitely are. Vamos Baby in the Counties Bowl is another super exciting prospect, and down in the weights, coming off that really good win last time, and listed success no doubt will be high on the agenda.
Oh, for sure. Obviously we documented we had a lot of a whoopsie last year, and she lost the race. We think she's up to black type company. She comes up against a couple of very, very strong mares. It'd be great to see where she sits in amongst that, but she's Jamie and the team at Te Akau couldn't have her looking any better. Daniel's riding in sparkling form. I think they'll have to be on top of a game to be competitive against her. And I'm sure the two mares, Levante and the other mare just escapes me at the moment. They're flying this year, so it's going to be a really, really fun race to watch.
Yeah, it definitely is. The other one that Kiwis won't be too familiar with, and excuse me if I pronounce the name wrong, Samayan Susie. First time we get to see this horse in New Zealand. Tell us a little bit about the backstory here.
Yeah, she's a filly we bought at Easter a couple of years ago. For the Freedmans, they had her over in Sydney. She was a filly that showed a lot of promise as a 2-year-old. She won a city race in town. We brought her back into training early 3-year-old company, and then she's had an ongoing fetlock that's needed a lot of time to recover. So she's been back home here for 12 months. I thought she trialled up super the other day, so we're expecting her to be very competitive tomorrow. But it's hard to tell with fillies and mares that are coming back, resuming from racing after injury. But she's a beautiful mare and she's got a lot of talent. So hopefully she can put it all together tomorrow.
And then the icing on the cake would be across the ditch, wouldn't it? Because Zaydani takes her place, and another of your horses who's just been in cracking form came through the Matriarch and was really, really good during that Flemington Carnival. What's been the feedback since that run?
Oh, well, JD and Ben Hayes, who train her for us, they love this filly because it was their first ever winner and first ever stakes winner, first ever carnival winner, Group 2. And she's just a very genuine mare. If she gets a good track tomorrow, which is looking unlikely, I think she'd be super competitive. But, it's interesting, the Ballarat Cup hasn't been won by a mare for 20 years. So, it's against her, I suppose, from that respect. Bunch of dirty old geldings running around, which will be hard to be competing against, especially if they can get a toe into the track and there's a bit of a cut out of it. She'll find it tough tomorrow, but she tries hard. She's genuine. If Luke can get her off the rail and get her out into some clear air, time to run, she'll be attacking the line well, I'm sure.
Going to put you on the spot now, Brent, because I'm going to ask you who you think is your best winning chance tomorrow, and got to leave your heart out of it. What do you think for the punters?
I think our best chance tomorrow is Cheaper Than Divorce. I think she's a very talented staying mare. I'd like to think that she can put a foot forward.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck with all of the horses heading into the weekend. You've got plenty of firepower, and hopefully you can get the wins across both here and, of course, Australia as well.
Thank you very much. Well, we certainly, I couldn't be happier with the horses, the training team, the riders, the stable guys have just done a wonderful job to put us in this position. So I hope for their sake and for ours that we can get a win or two tomorrow.
Up next on the phone, we link in with Robbie Hannam. And Robbie, awesome to have you with us. And it's going to be a busy couple of days, I understand.
Yes. Kia ora, Emily. It's so good to be here. Yes, it is going to be a busy couple of days. Off to Taranaki in about 3/4 of an hour, and then get home roughly about 10 to 11 tonight, and then get up and have to ride work for my brother-in-law. I live in the dream.
Living the dream. Awapuni is obviously the focus of Saturday. And I thought we could have a little chat through your runners. It's going to be a busy day for you there at Awapuni. If we start with Sacred Pearl, lightly raced, just the 3 starts. You rode for the trial win, but then Wirramu Pin rode for that 3rd win fresh. What did you make of the trial and that fresh run?
Yeah, the trial was very good, and obviously she backed it up with a very nice 3rd that day. Unfortunately, drawn 15, tomorrow, so it's a little bit tough. Like, she had all favours last start, but look, had she drawn inside 5, she would have been a very good chance. Now I just have to ride her better and ask for a bit of luck along the way.
What about the 1600 metres? That looks ideal now.
Yeah, perfect for her, because she is going to stay later on, so a mile now is not too soon either.
Race number 2, Been a Pleasure, another really lightly race type with just the 2 starts. You had to work pretty hard in that race, but still ran well. You must have been happy with that run.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, look, he had a wide draw that day. Had I stayed where I was running, I would have been caught 3 or 4 wide. So I elected to go forward rather than pull back, because he's an on pace runner anyway. He stuck on really good, but admittedly the winner was way too good for everything. I think there'll be a bit of form come out of that race. And look, there's 4 or 5 other horses in that race that could possibly win that have got good form, but he's not the worst.
Yep. Race number 3, Kickstart, comes next. Fresh up, haven't seen this horse since May. Had a couple of trials and you rode the horse in one of those. Tell me, what were your thoughts after that?
Yeah, look, this horse, to be honest, could be a very nice sprinter, but he tends not to jump out that flash. Now, that's his downfall. If he gets away with them, there's no reason why he couldn't win this.
And race number 4, you've got Sassenach. You rode a couple of starts ago. Didn't ride last time, but that was a handy effort. Just went down by a small margin. Jump in distance to the 2,200 metres. Do you feel that will suit?
Absolutely. Look, if you go back through her form, she's won over 2-1. It was that day Chris won on it when he broke David Walsh's record. So, 2,200's not that big a jump for her. She's had a couple of miles now, and I think she's a very nice ride.
Race number 5 is Nate in the open handicap. Top weight, but an inside draw certainly helps, Robbie.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, to be fair, he's top weight, probably because it's not a great field. He deserves to be top weight in that field. Look, trying to find the dangers, it's hard to say. Look, Sky Fighter is on the way up, but other than that, you'd think he'd go very close to winning that.
And the form sort of looks like he's building to something, doesn't it? Each start has been a little bit better, so hopefully it's your day on Saturday.
Absolutely. Hope it is too.
Another key chance is race number 6, where you've got Wild Moose, who's pretty well fancied to take out that open handicap. 1 start for 1 win on Wild Moose, and that came at a last outing. Did he impress you?
He did. He's probably not the fastest horse in the field, but he tries really hard. He's one of those horses, you get on pace and you let him do his thing, and he'll give you 100%. And look, to be honest, it's pretty much the same sort of field as what he bet last time. He wouldn't have to improve a lot to win it tomorrow.
Race number 7, Ted Can 2. Horse you've ridden in its past 2 starts. What have you made of those efforts?
Look, he probably hasn't had the best of luck in those 2 runs. He's probably, the track's going to be not pretty good tomorrow, and I'm thinking they just might run a little bit too quick for him. He's probably looking for a mile now, but in saying that, he's got a really nice draw. He'll get an economical run, and if he can sort of sit in the first 5 or 6, he's definitely still a chance.
And race number 8 is Lincoln Raider. Been thereabouts this preparation and wasn't beaten far at the latest, which you've got to say is pretty encouraging.
Absolutely, Emily. Look, this horse is showing glimpses of being a very good horse, but unfortunately, like he's only a winner of 4, and he's still in the 74 grade. He's got a lot of ability. He's had a few problems with his joints and everything, but with that draw tomorrow, drawn 1, he'll get a nice at 3-4 back the fence. He normally gets back anyway, so if he can get sucked into the race and get a little bit of daylight, yeah, he looks like the one everyone has to beat.
You've made a good case for a number of your runners across that Awapuni meeting. Can you single one out for us as a winner on the card?
Oh, look, to be fair, Wild Moose looks the one. It's the same sort of field what he bet last time, and I know, I've galloped the horse since, and he has improved a little, and he doesn't have to improve at all to actually beat them again. Touch wood, of course, you know what horses are like, but yeah, he looks the one that'll win.
Awesome stuff, Robbie. Great to catch up with you. Thanks for your insight, and best of luck on Saturday.
Cheers, Emily. Have a good one, eh?
Well, it's a busy show this morning, and Lance Noble is our next person to catch up with. Lance, first of all, I just wanted to find out how you're going with the boundary and getting horses out of Auckland to be able to race. It must be a really tricky time for you and the staff.
Yeah, Emily, it is. It hasn't been easy the last 3 months. Although in saying that, we're probably a little bit more fortunate here than other stables in the Auckland area. We've got Cameron Ring from Cambridge Stud, who's been looking after our horses and saddling them up and doing a great job. So we're probably a little bit lucky, but yeah, we do miss going to the races.
And that feedback as well, not actually being there and seeing them run, you must have to have sort of a lot of pre-chats with jockeys and things to make sure everything goes as you plan.
Yeah, that's right. It's fine if they're winning. You don't really have to be there, but if something doesn't go quite right, you sort of like to be there for those moments. But as I say, the jockeys have been great. The people helping us out have been terrific. So we just get on with it.
You've got the 3 contenders on Saturday at Te Rapa. What should have been your local meeting at Pukekohe obviously has had to shift to Te Rapa, and thought we could go through the runners. If we start with Manchu, a third up, a good effort at that latest outing to place behind Vamos Baby, and she's one of the favourites in the county's bowl, so that might be a pretty good form line.
Yeah, she's a very, very consistent mare. She's only had 13 starts and been in the first 4 11 times. So she's very consistent. And although she's only won the one race, she's always thereabouts and tries really hard. I think 1400 will suit her on Saturday, and definitely the better the track, the better she'll go.
Have you noticed much improvement in her over the course of this campaign?
I think she just needs to find probably a length, and we've put blinkers on her last start, and I think that will help her. But I do think with the better track conditions and the 1400 will be right up her alley.
You've got 2 in the same race then as we get to the Dunstan Feeds Auckland Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes, and that's Familiar and also Vanaza. I thought we'd start with Familiar. Second up, what did you make of that fresh run in the Legacy Lodge Sprint?
I thought it was pretty good. The track was just a little bit off, and the better the track for her, also the better she'll run. Another mare that's very, very consistent. I think 1400. She's ready to step up to 1400. And another one that always puts her best foot forward. So she's not a superstar, but she's very, very honest, and you can see her getting up.
Tactically, what will be the instructions to the jockey?
Craig Grills is riding her. We'll probably, she's a natural go forward horse, so we'll probably just let her roll along and hopefully tuck in the first 4.
And then Vanaza is your other chance in that race, also in a second up state. And what were your thoughts on that resuming run? Because it was a long time prior to that since we've seen her.
Yeah, it was. It was 20 months since she'd been on the track. She suffered an injury in Australia, and it's taken a lot of work from all the staff and physios to, it was a pulled muscle, and to see a run like that fresh up in an open race, drawn wide, and she really hit the line nicely. It wasn't our intention really to go to this race. We were going to wait a little bit, but she bounced through the run so well and hit the line so strongly. And Leaf's been great. He's been coming out and riding her, riding work 4 times a week out on the farm, and he just said she's bounced for it. So we've sort of changed tack with her, but the 1400 should really suit her, and she's a class mare.
She sure is. A first try at the 1400, as you said, you think that'll suit her. She gives you the indication, and Leith obviously probably more with the feedback that she's going to eat up that distance.
Yeah, we think so. Fresh up over 1200, she got back and she was strong through the line in the Legacy. So we don't think the distance will phase her. And also having a barrier 4 is a big help. She hopefully can just jump and put herself right there.
I guess with just the 3 runners in the same race, it's difficult to pick out your best winning chance. But I'd imagine a Quinella in the stakes race would go pretty good.
I'll be pretty popular with the boss if that happened. But look, they're all good, honest mares, and we'll be trying hard, and I can see them all being in the first 3 or 4.
Well, thanks very much for your time, Lance. Best of luck. I know you won't be able to be there on Saturday, but hopefully the horses can fly the flag for you and the team.
Hope so too. Thanks, Emily.
Well, now on the show, we link in with Opie Bosson to find out how it's all going, because Opie, you made the decision to ride 54.5 kilos in the 2-year-old race aboard Bright Blue Sky. And with that in mind, I'd be thinking you rather like this filly.
Yeah, she's a lovely filly, and from the first time I rode her, she gave me a great feel, and her track work's been really, really good during the week, and I'm looking forward to getting on her back for race day.
Tell me, how is the weight battle going? Because I think, when was the last time you rode 54.5 kilos? Was it probably in a Karaka Million?
Yeah, I think maybe 2 years ago, and I probably haven't ridden under 56 since then, but I've got just over a kilo to lose today, so no, things are going well.
What makes you think that she is worthy of getting down to that weight and riding? What is it about her that really stands out to you as being future potential?
She's just got that X factor, and just gives you that amazing feeling when you ride her, like good horses do. But it's still a 2-year-old race, and things can go wrong. So I'm quietly confident, but not over the top,
You've ridden her at the trials as well, and of course at track work. What did you make of that last trial? She seems really professional, like she loves her job.
She does. She jumps out, puts herself there, and had to wait for a gap along the rails in her last trial, but she showed a good turn of foot when she got through, and ended up winning quite easily in the end.
You've got the inside barrier draw. Is that a positive or a negative? Would you prefer to be a little bit further out?
Oh, it'd be nice to be maybe 2 or 3, but I don't mind barrier 1. We just have to assess the way we jump away and then just go from there.
The field as a whole, obviously there's a horse in there that won on debut by about 6.5 lengths. Have you had a chance to assess the rest of the field in that 2-year-old race?
Yeah, the horse won his only start. He was very, very impressive, and so my girl's just got to step up a bit to try and match him because it's her first start. But there's a couple of other horses. One's had a second, and then there's a few first starters. So that a lot of them will be in the same boat as me.
Let's have a chat about some of the other runners you've got, and we can start with Joy Alone. Got very close on a heavy track at that latest outing. Seems to be a nice sense of timing with this preparation, with it being third up.
Yeah, she's just getting better and better with each run and stepping up in distance, which is going to be ideal. She's a class horse. She's won stakes race before, so I'm expecting a big run. We just got a bit of an awkward barrier draw. We just have to hope for a little bit of luck.
Miss Aotearoa is a really interesting one for me. I found her really hard to assess when it comes to her runs this campaign. You threw your leg over her last time to the races. What did you take away from that run?
Well, I probably rode her a little bit handy. I got to the front too soon, and it was a bit of a sit and duck. So she's drawn out quite wide for Saturday. So we'll just have to probably ride her a little bit quieter, hold her up for the last run at them.
And what about side winkers to blinkers? Was that your suggestion after the last run?
Yeah, just when we hit the front, she did have a bit of a look around. So and she's been working blinkers through the week, and her work's been excellent. So she seems to have stepped up from her last start.
I know you've always had quite a high opinion of her. You feel she's a horse that can go through the grades. That was at the start of the prep. Do you still feel that way about her?
I think so, yes. We just haven't had a lot of luck. So we'll just have to hope for a bit of luck on Saturday from that draw as well. But she's got the ability for sure.
Image of You is another ride for you on the day. Love the form line and a first try at the 1600 metres. So tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, I haven't ridden her a lot in track work, but she's very consistent, and the 1600 metres looks like it's going to be ideal for her. She's been hitting the line really strong, so I expect a big run from her.
You're not having much luck with the barrier draws, though, are you? It does make it a little bit awkward for you.
Yeah, I just can't seem to draw a gate these last few weeks, but hopefully the horses are good enough that can overcome that.
And then Show of Roses is an interesting runner. Just had the one start this campaign. She's previously used that tactical speed to dictate, and I'd be thinking maybe that's what you were hoping to do on her when it comes to Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. We've drawn the outside, and she has got speed, so we'll have to put her right in the race, probably lead or sit outside the leader if we could. But we just have to assess where she jumps away. But she's a class mare, and I expect her to run a bold race.
I was interested to see in her form line, she finished second to you on Media Sensation last year. You'll be looking to take out the race again.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I like riding for Jo. She does a good job with her horses, so we're looking forward to it.
Opie, who would you single out as your best on the day? I know, obviously, Bright Blue Sky is the short price favourite and the reason you're losing all the weight. But outside of Bright Blue Sky, is there one that you're really keen on its chances?
I do like Joy Alone. Stepping up in distance is going to be ideal for her. So she's a lovely mare. I've had a chance to ride her in track work, and I'm really looking forward to getting on her for Saturday.
Well, thanks so much for your time and best of luck, and hope the rest of that weight comes off not too high for you.
I'm sure we'll be okay.
Michael McNabb joins us on the phone this morning to talk through his rides for Te Rapa on Saturday. Michael, as we come to you, a very good morning. I understand you're on the way to New Plymouth.
Yeah, good morning, Emily. Yeah, just heading down there now for the twilight meetings. Got Dino driving, so we're all right.
Let's have a run through your runners for Saturday. Global Currency got that last start win over the 2100 on the heavy track. Do you feel that's a bit of a concern coming back to a better track on Saturday?
No, not really. I thought if he had the blinkers on the start before, he would have won on a good track. So, not really. And I rode him a bit further back at Tauranga, and he seemed to enjoy that a lot more as well.
From that barrier 10, would it be thinking that you'd get back and running?
I'd say we won't get as far back as what we did, but he will get back a little bit, I'd say.
And he seems like he fights really hard in the finish. You could see that in that last start effort.
He got there really easily and then just sort of waited for them. So, but he kept his head in front, which was the main thing. So maybe even sort of hold him up a little bit longer as well.
Race number 2, you've got Four Queens, a last start winner who really got motoring late at rating 65. Up to the rating 74 grade. Do you feel like she's the type that can progress through the grades nicely?
If she turns up, yes. But she's had times where she's got there and hasn't really wanted to win. But when she does win, she wins really well. Bit of an awkward gate, but if she turns up, she'll be competitive.
Yeah, with that gate, what will be your tactics? Go back from there?
Yeah, she normally gets back a little bit.
Race number 3, you've got Mascarinto, who's a pretty nice pickup ride, actually, because you have to be seen to be believed that debut win scored by, what was it, nearly 7 lengths. You must be pretty happy to have got the ride on this one.
Yeah, really pleased to pick up the ride on him. He was electric in his only race start, and he hadn't had any trials, so he should improve off that again. There is one there that there's a lot of hype about, but we'll see if the hype's real tomorrow, I suppose.
And the other thing is you've got the benefit of a race day start, and that can be so important, can't it, with regards to these races for the 2-year-olds?
Yeah, of course it can. I think race day experience is a big thing, so he's got that on his side, so hopefully it helps him tomorrow.
And tactical speed should be able to put you right there in the race?
Yeah, he'll be there, makes his own luck, so that always helps as well.
Race number 4, Sam I Am Susie, is racing in the Trelawney stud colours. Interesting horseback from Australia. Have you been able to get much of feedback about the horse? Obviously, you rode it at the trials, so that would have given you good insight.
Yeah, she trialled really well, but that's I've only sat on her twice because I've been haven't been able to get to Cambridge through COVID. But the feel she gave me the other day at the trials was super.
Yep, a long time between runs, so I guess it's a hard one to assess, isn't it, Fresh?
Yeah, it is, but I'd say Team Pike will have her ready to go. But yeah, race day, she's got to do it on race day yet, so we'll see tomorrow.
Race number 6, you've got another runner for the Tony Pike stable, and an improver second up. You haven't ridden this prep, but you do know the horse pretty well from previous preparations.
Yeah, I know him well. I've ridden him quite a lot. I rode him most of his last prep and ridden him in a lot of his trials. He was really good the other day. He's got a better draw, so he should be able to get a little bit closer. Hopefully he runs well.
And ideally placed up in distance as well to the 1,600 metres.
Yeah, mile looks ideal for him, the way he got home the other day.
Race number 7, Just Amazed. Love that win last week in open handicap grade. A classy tight 4th in the race last year. Looks like a nice ride for you in that one.
Yeah, he looks a lovely ride. He's flying this prep. He come back with a really good 4th over a mile and then won really well the other day. Dropped some weight. Loves Tarapa. And from what I've been told, he's flying at home. So he looks a good ride and a good enough race.
Race number 8 is Loose Cannon, resumed with a win. What were your thoughts on that winning effort?
Yeah, it was a really good win and a lot lower grade, but still a really good win. Back to the better surface, I think, is going to help her. I think she can ping off a good track, but she's in a strong field.
She had a nice break between that run on the heavy track, didn't she? Which hopefully should see her legs have freshened up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to help, the little break and a little freshen up.
What about tactics with regards to her? Where would you like to see yourself in running?
Oh, from 1, I think maybe 3 back would be perfect for her. Not too handy, but I'll just see what Stephen wants to do.
Race number 9, Packing Joy. There's a few guys at the TAB will be pretty excited to see this horse go around. What did you make of that last start effort at the rating 74?
Yeah, super. Just got too far back and then had to get to the outside, which made it awkward. But he's drawn really good. I think he's going to be really competitive, and I'm hoping that he can cap off a good day.
Can you combat him being slow out of the barriers and make use of the better barrier that you get, or is that just the way he rolls getting back in his runs?
Well, his last 2 runs, he's done it, so I might just try and move him around a little bit in the gates and get him a bit motivated in there, so hopefully we can hold a bit of a spot and we don't have too much work to do late.
And obviously making up good ground late last time indicates that the 1,600 metres will only be a positive?
Yeah, I think the 1,600 is going to be perfect for him.
If we just surmise all your runners, who do you have as your best ride when it comes to Saturday?
Probably Sam I Am Susie. I think that's how you say her name.
Yep, that's the one. Yep, that is. I think that's it. Yep, that's your winner.
Yeah,
hopefully. A few more, though.
Yeah, I'd like to get a few more, but hopefully she does as well.
It's been a very busy Saturday morning show here on The Form. A big thank you to our guests, and hopefully you got some valuable insight from their interviews. Now let's have a recap of what they like as their best bets. Well, that's it from us here on The Form this morning. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Best of luck with your investments throughout this afternoon. Enjoy Counties Cup Day and also, of course, that domestic meeting from our Cooney too.